Good morning to all respected bishops, fathers, religious, and other delegates. It's a privilege to be part of the Synodal Assembly and to reflect together on the accompaniment of children and youth. I come here not as an expert with perfect answers, but as someone who has journeyed with young people for many years and witnessed both their deep hunger for God and for their deep need for belonging, listening, and accompaniment. The question is, are they growing because of us or in spite of us? A few years ago, my 4-year-old niece, she was asked in a very informal setup, what is catechism? And she replied immediately, homework, homework, homework. This was her understanding from watching her older brother. Another young girl that I know personally was deeply involved in church life. She attended catechism regularly, was active in the parish choir, and appeared well-formed externally. Yet, slowly, she drifted away from faith and eventually moved completely away from the church. These experiences remind us something important. Formation alone does not guarantee transformation. Children and youth are not only searching for instruction, they are searching for meaning, belonging, and authentic relationships. Different ages, different needs, one church journey. Children, adolescents, and young adults cannot all be accompanied the same way. Every stage of growth requires different form of listening, formation, and guidance. But across all stages, one thing remains constant. Young people grow best when they feel seen, understood, and accompanied. The church journey must therefore be both personal and pastoral. Programs inform, relationships transform. I remember the beautiful example of Archbishop Abraham Lutukonda, the former Archbishop of Nagpur. During the youth gatherings, while all of us expect him to be seated right in the front or on the dais, being the most important places, he always chose to walk into kitchen where the volunteers are working, to dining areas, to places where volunteers used to do all the dirty work and accompany them, build relationships with them. And he built relationships before authority. People felt seen and valued, and through these relationships, he shaped lives. Young people may forget programs, but rarely forget people who genuinely cared for them. Belonging is the soil where faith grows. Children and youth need spaces where they truly belong. These can be prayer groups, outreach initiatives, youth gatherings, sports activities, music ministry, or any simple fellowship gatherings. In my childhood, the parish that I belong to, we spent evenings in the parish ground, playing cricket, playing football, playing indoor games, and there was a lot of noise, chaos, and laughter. But because we stayed around the parish, informal faith formation naturally happened through these friendships, conversations, and relationships. And in the process, a few flower pots broke, a few window panes broke, there was a lot of chaos, there was no discipline, but there was transformation. Sometimes belonging comes before believing. And nobody walks in the church. Accompaniment becomes stronger when it is layered. As a young college student, when I joined for my first year pre-degree, there were a few people who were of my same age, what we call as peer accompaniment. We call it as cell groups. And these cell groups help journeying together. And at the same time, there were a few seniors who were about 4 or 5 years senior to me. And they also accompanied in a very different way, giving us corrections, giving us feedbacks, and what we call as near peer accompaniment. And slightly older youth guiding younger ones means a lot. And then the mature accompaniment, where priests, religious, and trained mentors offer wisdom and discernment. And the church accompanies best when every young person knows that I do not walk alone. Listen first, walk together, and guide with love. Accompaniment begins not with answers but with listening. Young people do not ask whether the church is efficient. They ask whether the church understands them, listens to them, and walks with them. Before guiding, we must first listen with a lot of love. Christ is encountered through living relationships. Very often young people encounter Christ not only through sermons or classes, but through relationships. It's through friendships that young people encounter Christ. A caring mentor, a prayer group, a retreat companion, a patient listening priest, a joyful community. These becomes the places where Christ becomes visible and real, and faith grows through these kind of encounters. Young people seek authentic witnesses, not perfect people. Young people are not searching for perfect leaders. They are searching for people who are real, transparent, prayerful, and present. And authenticity builds trust and open hearts. Safety should not just be a policy, it should be a culture. Adults who are trained, accountable, and transparent are very needed. Spaces where children can speak and be believed. Clear reporting structures need to be formed. A community ethos for protection and care should be developed, and there should be zero tolerance for abuse, neglect, and exploitation. For whom that shapes the journey. And often an overlooked dimension of accompaniment is the formation of parents and guardians. Children and youth spend most of their lives at home. If homes become spaces of listening, encouragement, and prayer, accompaniment becomes much stronger and more holistic. Families remain the first place of formation, and it is very important that we educate the parents the importance of this. Many of us might have experienced where parents give more preference to send their children to tuition classes more than the catechism classes. So we need to educate the parents. And 3 experiential models of accompaniment. First, the spiritual foundation from sacrament to encounter. Sacraments become transformative when they lead personal encounter with Christ. Young people need spaces of prayer, retreats, faith sharing, and community life where faith is experienced personally and not merely taught theoretically. I wish to conclude with a few pastoral proposals. The last slide, please. A few pathways for action. 1. Foster belonging-centered spaces. 2. Reclaim the role of the minister to be more pastoral, not just a director. 3. To promote layered accompaniment models in church. 4. To educate and support parents. 5. To encourage responsible digital citizenship. So when accompaniment becomes intentional and Christ-centered, the youth grows not in spite of the church, but because they are truly accompanied with it. Thank you.
Thanks, dear Shoy, for speaking to us for 12 minutes on accompanying children. The content that you have shared within 12 minutes can be discussed for 12 hours. Thank you very much.